Welcome, welcome. This is the Athletic Hockey Show. I am Sean Gentille. He is Dom Luszczyszyn. We are live on YouTube today for a preview of Team Canada and Team Czechia. This is day 2 of the men's tournament in Milan. We're going to talk Canada. We're going to talk Czechia, obviously. We're also going to talk about Team USA. That's with Mike Russo in a little bit. We're going to talk Team Canada and Team USA women with Hailey Salvian. That's all on the deck here. We have Marie-Philip Poulin injury updates, yada yada yada. It's been a big couple of days in Milan. Certainly headlined by the Canada and US lid lifters here later today, as to use a very old, obnoxious broadcasting phrase. Dom Luszczyszyn is here as well. He's co-hosting from Toronto. Certainly a very, very far from me right now. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Very, very far. We definitely did not go play darts or anything this week.
I don't know what you're talking about. How are you, man?
I am great. I'm excited.
More importantly, and this is the big question. Where were you for Damien Clara's brief and beautiful moment in the sun last night? Of course, the Italian goaltender, he made 46 saves, and it was less than 2 periods against Sweden, wasn't it? But before leaving with a cramp, hopefully. That to me is what Olympic hockey is all about. And we got a little taste of it on night 1. This is a guy who most of us didn't know existed. Yes, he's a legit prospect for the Anaheim Ducks, but for the vast majority of the viewing audience, that's the first exposure we got to him. And it was beautiful. He was standing on his head and roaming around the crease and doing all kinds of crazy stuff to keep Italy in that game against Sweden. It was memorable and it was fun.
It was awesome. It's what the Olympics is all about. It was fantastic to see, and Italy's offense came through a little bit as well early on to make it really spicy. That's my first time watching him, obviously, but I did know a little bit.
Wait a second. You weren't in on the Damien Clara scouting process before the 2023 draft? Come on, buddy, get it together.
No, not at all. I don't really pay too much attention to hockey outside the NHL. For my projections for this tournament, I enlisted some help from some European statisticians, and they gave me the 411 that Clara was a legit NHL prospect. He's sick. He's got some theatrics to him in the sense that he could steal some periods, and you
gotta put the leash on him too. He's a roamer. I love seeing that. I know he's 6'6", so you don't get the full 90s goaltender experience. He needs to be like 5'11" for that. But man, it was fun. Today though, it is about the North American teams in the men's tournament. We found out a couple minutes ago that John Cooper is indeed starting Jordan Binnington as expected over Logan Thompson against Czechia. Tom, you've outlined why that choice shouldn't be all that difficult and why it should certainly be different. Word on the street though, it seems like you're maybe softening the stance a little bit. That's kind of hard to believe. What's going on?
So I wrote an article on Monday that some Blues fans did not enjoy, which is okay. I'm just outlining the facts and the concerns because I think this is going to be the toughest game Canada has in the group stage. Czechia has their superstar talent up front. They have a goalie that can steal a game no problem, and Binnington has not been the best this season. I think we all know that. So I looked at the chances, how everything would change if Canada drops this game, which is a possibility. We saw Slovakia beat Finland. I am softening a little bit just because Slovakia did beat Finland, and that puts Finland in a direct path to finish 3rd in their group and likely 7th, 8th, or 9th. So if Canada runs the table, they do not get a maybe easier game in the quarterfinal. They might get Finland. And so if that's the case, there's no real concern anymore to finish 1st or 2nd the group. And you can give Binnington this start, and he earned it after the Four Nations win. I'm not denying that for sure. As soon as 10:41 hits, I am a huge Jordan Binnington super fan. I hope he does well. I hope he makes me eat a whole platter of crow. I want it to happen. I want him to be the best goalie I've ever seen. I'm rooting for that. Just before the tournament, you have to have your concerns, and that was obviously the big one.
This is Canadian arrogance from you, discounting the Slovakian team like that. You should be afraid of the Slovaks. Be afraid of Juraj Slafkovský.
He's unreal. Olympic setting. He's
love this
all time. I think isn't Olympic hockey the best? Slavkovsky.
It's great.
First line forward.
You know who was really on about Slavkovsky was Drance. Drance was gassing him up so hard, and I love seeing a Drance prediction come through because it happens so infrequently. So yeah, we love it. Okay, Russo is here. Mike Russo is here. Joining us now from Milan is the man on the scene, Michael Russo. Buddy, you've been covering everything. We've seen you at women's games. We've seen you at U.S. practices. You're all over the place. How are we doing? How are you holding up physically? How have the last 10 days or so gone for you?
I haven't held up physically in about 30 years, so but I'm doing well. I haven't hit the wall yet. I know I've covered Olympics before, and there does come a point where that happens. So far, it hasn't happened, but I think part of it is we have such a good team here and robust team with 5 of us hockey writers and an incredible editor in Naoko here that really keeps us all with our eyes on the ball. And so it's been awesome so far. And just walked out into the corridor, watched Jordan Binnington, your guy, lead Canada onto the ice against Lucas de Stael. And so now I know, according to Dom's predictions, that they're in deep trouble.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Day 2 actually has already started. We haven't even mentioned this yet. Switzerland beat France 4-0. Mike, I'm looking for 2 things for you right off the bat. What's been the most memorable moment from the men's game so far? We've seen 3 of them. And what's the most consequential? Because those are 2 separate things. Like, we can all gas up Damien Clara, the Italian goaltender, and talk about how fun he is, but I don't know how much. I don't know how important that's necessarily going to be moving forward. So what's most memorable, and what do you think is the biggest deal overall?
Well, so far my favorite moment was watching Finland have maybe their worst international loss in 20 years, and then watching a reporter try to take a selfie with Sebastian Aho right after it, and then just seeing him sheepishly pose for it.
You can name Laz. We all know it was Lazarus
exactly.
who was trying to get a photo.
Yeah. I did say to Laz after the Switzerland game, "Hey, I'm going downstairs to take a selfie with Nino." You know what? I mean, that was definitely the best moment of the so far of the tournament. The first game, watching Slovakia upset Finland. You know, I called it a stunning upset on X, and Slovak fans got all pissed with me. Of course. It's a, I mean, obviously, it's not like you're watching France beat the United States or Canada, but still Finland, who I didn't think was very good in the Four Nations, they come here and right away they lose to a team that doesn't have a full body of NHL players. Obviously, Slavkovsky was awesome, and they haven't had a player in that country like that since probably Gaborik or Hossa. And but I was really disappointed watching Finland. I mean, just even that empty net goal there, and watching one guy doesn't even have a stick in his hand, and you're watching guys like Hintz and Granlund and Rantanen and these guys just try to not even put a body on them. It was embarrassing. And so I think that that Slovakia winning so far has definitely been the story of the tournament, and that was game 1, so it was pretty cool.
This is after years of the pesky Finns narrative too, right? Like, that's always been the tag that's followed them around in international hockey for the last however many years, and we didn't see much of that yesterday.
They
exactly. Like, they're supposed to be this gritty team, and then you watch as soft a play as ever to defend that empty net. It was not very cool.
I love this. Mike Russo making enemies in Finland as we speak. We love it. We love it. Okay. I do want to ask a couple U.S. men's questions because that's your primary. Oh, I don't know if I want to say that necessarily, but that's one of your beats at this tournament. Clayton Keller was the extra forward at practice yesterday, which I thought was interesting, as in he did not have a line. Is that something we can expect to see tonight? And what's the logic at play there?
Yeah, I think that probably the logic is going with the guys with the Four Nations. My guess is that Clayton Keller is going to at some point get games. They have back-to-back coming up. I think that Jack Hughes already is entering the tournament sort of on a short leash. He winds up, the way that he played wing at the Four Nations, they were really talking about putting him at center here in this tournament. And next thing you know, they put him on the 4th line left wing and not on the power play, at least according to the line rushes the last 3 or 4 days. So it just feels like he could be in trouble. But I mean, then you have JT Miller and Vincent Trocheck. So any of those guys could wind up out of the lineup, but it just feels like Jack is kind of entering the tournament in a bit of issue. Obviously, he had the groin injury before the tournament started, so maybe they're just going to try to slow play him as well and give other guys opportunities. I love their top three lines, but my guess is that Keller at some point is going to get games.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And again, they open against Latvia later today. Some of the faces in the lineup will be recognizable as guys who were in the stands during the U.S. women's 5-0 win against Canada on Tuesday. Sounds like there's some real appreciation there on their parts, Mike. I saw one of your recent posts that Matthew Tkachuk compared Caroline Harvey to Bobby Orr, which is, that's lofty, but also based on the way Caroline Harvey's played hockey for the last few years is not wholly incorrect. So yeah, there's a lot of appreciation there on the men's side, isn't there?
Absolutely, and I it was really cool watching the entire U.S. team, or most of the U.S. team, arrive at that game the other day. I know that U.S. men's management has been at pretty much every single one of the women's games, and Bill Guerin joked yesterday that he called his wife and said that Abbey Murphy is his now favorite player. But Caroline is just, she's something. I mean, there's a reason why she is most people think is going to be the number one pick in the PWHL draft. She skates like no other. They joke internally on the team that she's the fourth Hughes sibling because one, she's sort of a pet of Ellen Hughes. Ellen is just such a huge fan of hers. Obviously, Ellen is director of development consultant is her actual title. I wrote a big feature on her the other day. The Hughes brothers' mom. And she's part of the U.S. women's team, and she brings, Caroline and a lot of the women to Ann Arbor every summer to skate with Jim and her, and also sometimes the Hughes brothers. And those, huge amount of NHL players that skate in Ann Arbor there, the Hellebucks and the DeBrinkets and the Dylan Larkins and players like that. So she is just, she's a high event player that John Wroblewski basically says doesn't make the ton of mistakes that you expect from a high event player. And she is coming off back-to-back 6-point games, and is just, 3 points each, and 6 points in her last two games. And she's just been something that it just feels like none of the teams so far in this tournament have been able to handle, including Canada.
What are you watching for in Canada, Latvia? And you can answer this through the lens of the U.S. team, or just as a journo who's watching this game. What about this one interests you the most?
Well, I think it's going to be complicated. I mean, Dostal is obviously a great goaltender. I think the Czechs have a lot of great players, and that kind of want to poke the bear here of Canada. I can tell you Pierre LeBrun is convinced that there is going to be an upset today, whether it's the United States or Canada. And it's probably, if you're going to look at the two games, it probably would be Canada. The thing is that, what I am interested in is right now they have, it's the lines are really, one, it just shows you their depth, but they have Crosby, McKinnon, and McDavid on three separate lines, and you just know that at some point there's going to be the quote-unquote nuclear option where they team a lot of these players up, and all of a sudden they start playing together. But right now, Celebrini's gotten the luxury of playing with a guy like McDavid and then Tom Wilson on the right. And it's just, technically, McKinnon's a third-line player right now, and you just know that just speaks to the depth that this team has. And so I'm really looking forward to this game here that starts in about 30 minutes.
What do you think of Brandon Hagel with McKinnon? Because that's one of the things that's shuffled out over the last couple of days. I think it makes sense, especially given the way they put together that first line too. Is you have the physical element in Wilson for McDavid, and then you have the kind of physical element for Hagel for McKinnon.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And John Cooper's affinity for Hagel, and I think that's what he's trying to do.
It's well documented that John Cooper likes Brandon Hagel for sure.
Yeah, exactly, and doesn't like when the Florida Panthers go after him. So, it'll be interesting. But I think the hope here, not that McKinnon needs room created for him, but I think that's the hope, is that you have a guy like Hagel going to the net and creating havoc and going to the dirty areas where McKinnon can just use his speed and bull his way up the ice when he wants. So. It'll be interesting. That's the luxury of a tournament like this. That wasn't the luxury in Montreal and Boston back a year ago. Is that in a tournament that is so short like there, you really didn't have time to experiment. Kyle Connor for the United States winds up scratched in the championship game when he started on the first line. And here's a good example where they have these prelim games to really tinker with some things, see what works. not have the luxury that if you lose, it's not the end of the world, and you just try to figure it out. And so I think the hope from all of us is that at some point we see the United States and Canada play against each other in the medal round. Obviously, that's because they're not in the same group. We're not guaranteed that we are going to see them. But I think that obviously that's the hope for a lot of us that are here covering it, that we're going to get that sort of, encore that we saw last February.
Absolutely. Well, the road to that starts in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, brother. And enjoy the games. Keep up the good work.
Guys.
It's always fun to watch. And also, everybody, don't forget to check out Russo's Twitter page, because it is the my God, it is.
I got a great. I got a really fun.
log.
Yeah, I got a fun story tomorrow when Keith Tkachuk billeted Quinn Hughes and Brady Tkachuk.
Of course you do.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I'll just give you a little tease. Keith Tkachuk taught Quinn how to drive at age 15 before he had a driver's license, so they could go to dinner, and who would drive.
Imagine a 15-year-old Quinn Hughes behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. Good God!
Exactly.
Help us!
And as Matthew Tkachuk says on the record in the story, it was 100% the master plan was so he could have a couple. And know that he had a designation. So anyway, it's a fun story.
But last thing before you go, how is Brian Boitano as a bartender? Rate him 1 to 10.
He's good. I had one of his drinks, and man, let's put it this way: you should not have the hat trick at 10 a.m.
Okay.
If you want to work and cover practice about 2 hours later. So that's
wonderful.
A mistake I made that day.
Hey,
but he's a good bartender. That was a fun story as well. And the title sponsor of the Winter House is Starbucks, so I had to go there.
All right. That's enough. No more product placement from Russo.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff, our producer, needs to work on me getting a Starbucks endorsement.
Yeah. He's working the phones right now for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
See you.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right, coming up, Dom and I are going to give some final thoughts on Canada and Czechia. We're also going to look further ahead to USA, Latvia. But before that, I caught up with Hailey Salvian earlier for an update on Marie-Philip Poulin, and we're going to get some Abbey Murphy talk in that conversation for sure. Russo alluded to some of it, but Hailey's got plenty on. She's one of the breakout stars of the Olympics, isn't she now? We're going to go to Hailey right now. All right, we're joined now by a women's hockey writer, Cassie Campbell's friend from Milan.
You'd have to ask Cassie about that. I don't know.
It's coming across as if she likes you from what I've seen on television. Hailey Salvian from Milan. Hello, how are you?
Hey, good. Little tired.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine. It's the Olympics. Everything's great. Everything.
Do you want to get a complaint on record about your experience watching hockey for 3 weeks in Milan? Want to make people mad at you? What's been the biggest issue?
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just a little sleepy. We're pulling double duty, but that's okay. It's been cool to be here. It's actually funny. The thing about being at the Olympics is it doesn't really feel like you're at the Olympics because I'm just covering a women's hockey tournament. Like this just feels like women's worlds, but with higher stakes. Meanwhile, there's, skiers announcing that they cheated on their girlfriend in Livigno and penis
we could do a
injectors
full segment on that
and Cortina. It's crazy.
Down.
There's all these crazy stories going on, and I'm just kind of at the rink being like, wow. What's happening here?
Except it's Milan and not Utica or London, Ontario. Or whatever.
I haven't been chased by a German Shepherd in the streets yet.
Yes, that has yet to happen. We'll see though.
There's been no carbon monoxide alarm or anything else that's made me fear for my life yet. So I've got no complaints. I'm just a little
Utica
sleepy.
Memories.
You know what? I will. You know what, Sean? I'm sorry. I will put a complaint on the record.
You would.
No, listen.
Mm-hmm.
This is you're in Italy, right? You think there's going to be people don't eat dinner until 8 p.m. Everything's open late. Everything closes at 11 o'clock.
That's interesting.
So, and the games, because of broadcast, start at 9:10 local. So, if you don't eat before, you're screwed. I had there was a gluten-free sandwich at Santa Giulia yesterday. Thank God.
Congratulations.
It had provolone and artichokes on it. Very weird. So I haven't really been having this like cool Italian dining experience. So that's my only complaint is the food's actually kind of strange.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
Canada has a complaint. Canada has an
Yeah.
issue. Marie-Philip Poulin is out. She appeared to injure. We'll call it a lower body injury. That was in the preliminary round. Misses the game against the United States. Canada loses 5-0, and it looked like a 5-0 loss. That was pretty uneven, pretty ugly. They were outshot 22-10 by the second intermission, which is by that point it was pretty well decided. What's the latest on Poulin's injury? Let's just start there. What do you got? Because this is something you've been all over since the start.
Mm-hmm. So, the latest is that she's obviously not playing against Finland to end out their preliminary round game. This was a game that was supposed to be played as their Olympic debut, but because of that norovirus outbreak, which feels like weeks ago now, they're playing it on February 12th on the Thursday, day before the quarterfinals are set to start. Canada plays on the 14th at least, so they do get a day off. So no Poulin to round out their final two preliminary round games. And it sounds like, so officially she is day-to-day with a lower body injury. I think by now we've all seen the video, and it was very difficult to watch. Poulin takes the big hit by Kristina Kaltonkova. Her right leg kind of bent funny under her. She's on the ground. She's grimacing. She doesn't put any weight on that right leg. And then she hobbles to the locker room after trying to take a spin on the power play and immediately coming off. So it didn't look great, but head coach Troy Ryan said the injury is not as bad as it looked. Because that's the thing. It looked bad. Everyone in the arena gasped because Poulin is the ultimate competitor. She is tough, and to watch her look like she was in so much pain, take a spin, and she took the face off, made a pass on the power play, and waved to the bench I'm coming off. And the fact that you don't see that often from her. So you knew it was bad. It looked bad, but sounds like it's not as bad as we think. And Team Canada is very optimistic. We'll see what happens. She's going to be assessed daily. But Canada is optimistic that we will see Poulin again at this tournament. The question, Sean, is just when that happens. And to me, the fact that she's not playing against the US or Finland, that in a vacuum isn't all that worrisome because there's no point. Don't risk it. If she woke up any less than 100%, she shouldn't be playing. You make it to the quarterfinals no matter what. I honestly wouldn't even play her in the quarterfinals on the 14th. They're probably going to play Germany. And unless Sandra Abstrider plays on her head and has one of the best goalie performances we've seen since Florence Schelling in 2014, I just don't think there's any need to risk playing Poulin until the semifinals. And even then, she should probably only play 10, 12 minutes.
Right. Not even as the 13th forward. You're just let's not introduce that variable to the mix at all. Right.
Bring her in to gear her up for the gold medal game. That's where we know she makes the big impact. That's as bad as the loss was on Tuesday for Team Canada. There's the huge asterisk, which is, Poulin wasn't playing because we know, and it's also the prelims. So to me, the only reason to not freak out is Canada wasn't playing with its best Olympic player. I mean, the best Olympic player of all time. I think we all know over the years, if you can get there, it's a game of inches, and it just takes one big goal from the biggest gamer on the planet. So to me, I do everything I can to save Poulin so she can be ready for the moment when she shines the most.
It kind of hints at maybe some bigger picture, longer term problems for Team Canada. We can maybe save those. Let's look at the smaller, shorter window here.
Why? What happened?
I personally greatly enjoyed the preliminary game between the United States and Canada.
It was the Abbey Murphy show.
Yeah. Let's talk about Murphy for a quick second while we're here. She was impactful in a lot of different ways. We saw more crazy setup work from her. Wild ice vision, another wild assist. But she was also, drawing penalties and bumping goalies and doing the Abbey Murphy stuff that she's become accustomed for. I know there was a topic of conversation on the Canadian broadcast. Certainly, Cassie was upset about it for one. The Abbey Murphy professionalism discourse has hit in a very big way. So, what have you seen from her? Are you surprised by it at all? And maybe you can just kind of segue into the stuff you said on television a day or two ago, because I think it was perceptive and correct about the Abbey Murphy experience.
She is the ultimate unicorn. No, I was not surprised. I've been watching Abbey Murphy do stuff like this for years now, and what it almost felt too on the nose. And Cassie's right. Like, Abbey Murphy is she loves a sell job. She loves it. She is great at it too, because she knows it pisses everyone off. Like, it was so on the nose for Cass to say, like, this bothers everyone. Like, Team Canada's mad about it. Troy Ryan's talking to the refs about it. It's like, right. Like, that's the point. Like,
what's the score?
She's doing
What's the score again?
Because she knows that you hate it. Like, she is the master of the game within the game, because, like, yeah, the score is 5-0, but again, like, games between the US and Canada get so tight. Like, the margins between these two teams realistically aren't that big, but Abbey Murphy is so good at doing the little things to be like, here's where I'm going to add value. I'm going to piss you off so much that you are focused on cross-checking me in the corner instead of getting the puck and exiting the zone. I'm going to annoy you so much that you're taking illegal hits on me and putting our power play back on the ice. She got under their skin. She got in their heads. She got Canada off their game. She drew 4 penalties, and they were all like contact penalties: illegal hits, interference, cross-checking, illegal hit. Like, that is what she does. She does it on purpose. She wants to get in people's heads. She's so good at it. And then, like, the other side is she does the backhand no-look pass to Hannah Bilka.
Right.
And she sets up Hannah Bilka twice, actually, I think, in that game. Like, she had 3 assists and drew 4 penalties and pissed everyone off. Put Anne-Renee Desbiens in a leg hold. Like, had her legs wrapped around Desbiens' pads. Like, those are the things. And this is top of mind because I've been working on a rivalry series story, and those are the kind of things that, like, Tessa Bonhomme was just telling me about this. Like, that stuff, that's what, like, the Lamoureux were great at. And I know we want to make all these, like, comparisons to Brad Marchand or Matthew Tkachuk, but, like, Abbey Murphy really is cut from the same cloth as the Twins, because the Twins can do the forearm shiver, and they can do the drive by the bench, and they can get into a line brawl in 2013 twice leading up to the Olympics, but then they can also pull off the, kind of deeks that put the best goalie on the planet on their ass. Mm-hmm. So Abbey Murphy is, an expert at doing all the dirty stuff, but also having some of the most beautiful highlights we've ever seen. And she just completely dominated them. And even Troy Ryan after the game said, like, if you can't, like, he basically said, my advice to the players usually is, like, don't get involved if you can't match her. And so to me, it's like Kristen O'Neill, like, or Sarah Fillier, like, don't get into the mix if you're not going to then also go back and score. Like, if you're not going to get in the mix on the score sheet and the penalty box, just don't get involved, turn your cheek, walk away. So yeah, the diving's annoying, but, like, maybe look internally.
The skill levels ultimately what kills.
But also stop complaining about Abbey Murphy and play the hockey game and score a goal. Mm-hmm. Like, you gave them 5 power plays because she pissed you off. Like, I'm sorry. I agree with Cassie. It's brutal. It's tough to watch, but, like, maybe stop focusing on Abbey Murphy and do something on the ice.
Well, simply, how do you expect Canada to compete in a hockey game when they don't have their best player? That's just an unreasonable expectation, obviously.
I think, I mean, I was talking to Dom about this. He has his model. The percentages only drop by 3% because on paper, like, this is still a super team. These are still the 19 next best skaters in this country. And I don't want to hear anything about the young players left behind. Like, these are the 19 best players to try to win a gold medal. It's unacceptable. It's the first time they've ever been, like, I'm sounding like a homer. This is the first time that Canada's ever been shut out in the Olympic competition. It's not just because Poulin wasn't on the ice.
No,
because
that's
you had
fine.
4 shots in the first period. Like, what were you doing? They got completely outskated, and I don't want to say outclassed because that's over the top,
Yeah,
but
that's
Team
a
USA, that's like kind
value
of
judgment that
crazy.
you
I
don't
gotta
need to
calm
make.
down. Yeah, they weren't outclassed, but they were outskated. They were outskilled. They had 4 shots on goal in the first period. Like, I'm rambling now. It's fine. The only player who stepped up to me in Poulin's absence was her wife, Laura Stacey.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually, like, I do a good job at separating the two, but like Laura is the only one who put her money where her mouth was, because she's the one that came out and made the statement of like, Marie-Philip Poulin, like, she lifts us up all the time. She puts us on her shoulders. It's time for us to return the favor. And she's the only one who did it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like, it was just not what you expected to see when you're going into a big rivalry game and everyone's talking about how we got to get the job done for her without her. It was just like, it was just a blah effort.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. The preliminary round's finishing up here. We don't know what the knockout round matchups are going to be, but they'll be interesting. And again, biggest through line here is Marie-Philip Poulin out until further notice. Hailey will be in Milan tracking all of that. Thanks for joining. Go get some decent food, I guess. You're not at the rink right now, so you can actually have a decent meal. So maybe go try to make that happen.
I'll try. We'll see. I'm going to eat some gluten and see how it goes, I think. Today's the day. I'm going to full send on a croissant.
I have an idea of how that'll go. Have a nice day. Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you, Hailey. We do have something of a Poulin update here. It's 10:31. It's 9 minutes before puck drop in Canada, Czechia. But Marie-Philip Poulin skated this morning with medical staff and their coaches. Troy Ryan told the CBC's Claire Hanna that she felt well, and this is a direct quote, "An extra couple days will do her justice." So things are looking up. I know Hailey said as much, but it's always good to see those things tracked in the right direction, because nobody wants to see Marie-Philip Poulin seriously injure herself during an Olympic game. Also, Canada currently up 4-0 on Finland in that prelim game, so everything's going according to plan there. Okay, 8 minutes of puck drop now. Dom, Canada, Czechia, 10:40 Eastern. I wanted to ask you about the Czech top line. That's Tomáš Hertl between Martin Necas and David Pastrnak. Those are 3 high-end NHL players. I think they're going to lean on them pretty heavily. What are your thoughts on what that's going to look like for Czechia here?
That is my expectation as well. When I was doing my projections, I had to sort of guess how each team would use each player, because we don't know. So for Canada, USA, you expect balance. Sweden the same. I thought Finland would lean on their top 6 more, and they did not do that, with Brandon getting the 8th most minutes. So you never really know, but it feels like Czechia has loaded up that top line. They have like 3 star players, 1 genuine superstar. You have to expect that it'll go first line, second line, first line, third line, first line, fourth line, or something along those lines, right? And that will be the big test for Canada, is whether they can stifle that top line for sure.
1 to 10, how personally afraid of Lukas Dostal are you?
8.
8.
Pretty terrifying goalie. Yeah. I was 14 years old in 2006, and I don't even think I watched the game against Switzerland. I think I was at like an East Side Mario's, like eating dinner with my family, thinking it's Switzerland, it's fine. And then there's a small TV in the corner getting updates that Canada just can't score, and they have so many more weapons right now. But I think the goalies that they are going to face in Group A between Dostal and Leonardo Giannoni could be really tough.
Giannoni is the Swiss goaltender, by the way.
Yeah.
Italian last name, but a Swiss national. Yeah, he's had some major international success for them recently. Dostal 930 save percentage in his last 9 before the break too. So he was playing. He was.
What about
did you know
Binnington
that?
What's Binnington at his last 9? Oh boy.
Did it start with a 7?
It might have.
Okay, the other North American games today at 3:10 Eastern. That's the United States against Latvia. Russo talked about Jack Hughes. I think that's an interesting wrinkle here.
Mhm.
Maybe dealing with the lower body thing still. He's a fourth line winger at practice, which is wild. I don't think that's 0 for 2 on on position and spot in the lineup that I think people would have guessed for him going into this. That's certainly something to watch. The third defensive pair, it's Jake Sanderson and Zach Werenski. That's seeing those guys listed as a third pair is pretty fascinating. Do you think that's an issue? Is that a pro or a con for the United States? Because I think you can kind of view it both ways.
Yeah, it is. It is somehow both, because you
Mhm.
get through a stacked top four, you get the soft sheltered matchup, and it's a top 3 defenseman and one of the best two-way defensemen in the world in Sanderson. It is a luxury that USA has that they can even bring out that pair as a third option. To me, that's probably their second best pair, maybe in their top pair with how good both of those guys are. It makes me think they're going to rotate more, but it'll be interesting to see whether they get in the mix, because obviously you want Hughes out there as much as possible. Slavin and Faber are a great shutdown pair. I think we saw that during Four Nations as well. So it's a very nice problem to have too many defensemen. We did our top Canada and USA teams going back to 1998. And as great as the 2010 and 2014 teams were, you look at that defense core, you see names like Jack Johnson, Ryan Whitney. It's
the Olympics are back, baby. Jack Johnson's taking strays. We knew it was going to happen.
And to think that the third pair is now Zach Werenski and Jake Sanderson, they've come up a long way. And I think that's one of the reasons they enter this tournament as a co-favorite.
Yeah, you could argue that Werenski's presence on the roster and what he brings to it is one of the U.S.'s biggest edges over Canada. This is a prime time, ultra high end offensive defenseman. And with all due respect to Josh Morrissey, who's great, I don't know that Canada has any kind of comp for that behind Makar. So the fact that Werenski's the number 2 behind Hughes and there's no real analog in Canada is something to watch. Canalog? Canada? There's also another game. Denmark's playing Germany at 3 Eastern. Quick over under. How much is Moritz Seider going to play in that game?
29 and a half minutes. I put him down for 30. I think he's going to play half of every game, but we'll see if that actually happens. Heiskanen played 27-ish for Finland. They have a few more NHL defensemen. The German team has some great defensive players. I think the German league has a very strong defensive reputation, and there's a lot of players who can hold their own in that way. Having Seider at the top of that is going to be massive, but they got some guys who can shut players down. So we'll see how much they lean on Seider. I think it'll be a lot.
One last over under. How long will it take you to get to the largest screen you can find in public here?
Probably 2 minutes. I'm gonna sprint. Sprint to the local bar.
Let's see it. Enjoy the games, buddy. And that's it for us. That's it for this live edition of the Athletic Hockey Show. Thank you, Dom. Thank you, Russo. Thank you, Hailey. Thank you, producer Jeff. Thanks to you fine folks at home watching and listening. The next show's later today. We're going live again on YouTube after Team USA Latvia. I will not be present for this. It will be Dom once again, Jesse Granger, and their special guest, slightly more accomplished in the world of international hockey, a fellow by the name of David Backus, Team USA legend, 15-year-old vet, 15-year NHL vet. He's going to join the show. He's going to share his thoughts on the first U.S. men's game at the Olympics. So stick around for that. Enjoy it. Enjoy that game. Enjoy all the other games, and we'll see you again real soon.